Paltrocast.
Sarah, good afternoon. Is it good morning for you or good afternoon right now?
Just afternoon.
Okay. And it is a pleasure to be speaking with you. Upload, I will tell anyone this, one of my favorite shows of the past few years. When people say, what are you watching on TV these days? I tell them Upload. How did you first find out about the show?
That's fantastic. I started watching it from the beginning. So in 2020, with the Corona shutdown and all that, I had a fair amount of time on my hands, and it was nice to be able to find a comedy that made me both think and laugh.
Yeah, when people say, how do you describe it? I say, like the movie Idiocracy, but funnier and characters that you kind of love. Is that fair?
I like that. That's good. Yeah, I definitely love the way this show toes the line between letting you laugh at them and recognize that sometimes they're deeply flawed, but still rooting for them, still caring about them.
For me, I loved the show even more when I looked into who the people playing the characters are. Like, for example, Andy is one of the best guitarists you're ever going to hear and singers, yet you have no inkling of that from her character.
I had no inkling of that, and I was working with her, and then like halfway through, someone said, "You know that she has this whole other career." I was like, "What?" So then I did a deep dive, and I was like, "Oh my God, I'm fangirling out a bit here. This is crazy."
Yeah, so it's a great cast. It's not the only popular Amazon show that you've been a part of. Of course, your work on The Boys, also popular in the Paltrowitz household. But with Upload, it's great to know that you were a fan before you came on board. Digging into your career, successful editor before you became the director. What was the turning point for you to become director and not just an acclaimed editor?
So even before I was an editor, I did act when I was much younger, and
Yeah.
I had some, therefore, production experience. So, and I went to film school and did a lot of everything, but gravitated towards editing. And so I did that for many years and really, really liked editing. I think that all of that is a great, you know, uh, breeding ground or a great experience to make me a better director. So definitely having had visual effects experience and action experience in the cutting room helps me know what to I need to get on the day when I'm shooting, when I'm directing. So
Yeah, the social media bio does call you former actor. What was the turning point where you went, I'm not acting anymore?
former actor, that was pretty quick. That was like I was a kid, and I was also good at school and into sports, and I was like, I don't think I can do both. I mean, there are definitely actors who've been able to do both, but I was not that person. So I was like, I really like this industry. I really like this art form, but I think I want to be behind the camera. That happened pretty quickly. I knew it was no Meryl Streep, so that wasn't something I needed to strive for. And I was also aware that if you didn't feel very passionately about being an actor, it was not an easy life or career choice. And so that was clearly not for me. But I did absolutely love being behind the camera in both documentary and narrative stuff. So I knew I wanted to go to film school, and I went to film school. And then editing is, one of those great jobs where you get to do so much of the work of shaping the final product, right? So you have your, you get to choose the visual design, you get to choose performance, you get to shape the tone, you get to, and depending on what music you put on it, it affects everything. So I really felt creatively satisfied for many years as an editor. There was always something driving me back to my time on set, and I love working with actors and getting to sort of steer the ship. So yeah, I would say that's how it happened.
To use a music comparison, most of the best, my opinion, most of the best or most successful producers within the musical world were not really failed recording artists, but they didn't have that 10 million times selling record. They kind of had, maybe they had a local hit or two, but they kind of realized, oh, this isn't for me. I'm moving more to the backside. And then they kind of realized, oh, well, I was an artist, so I know how to talk to the artists. Does that give you credibility like I think it would on set, where they go, okay, former actor, she knows what we're dealing with?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I think even if you don't have that credibility going in, um, you can establish a rapport pretty quickly. So, by the way you interact with folks on the first day, or the meetings that you have. And I love to talk to people ahead of time, right? Especially now that we can Zoom. I love to Zoom with actors ahead of time, to just kind of meet them, especially when I was, there's so much time on set where your face is covered with a mask, right? You're kind of like this.
Right.
And so I like to meet them and say, this is me smiling, this is me happy. So getting to know people ahead of time just makes the daily process of doing what we do run so much smoother. And then I think that you get people's respect by giving good notes, by having your notes resonate, by seeming like we're all making the same movie, working towards the same goals.
Some films or TV projects, you can watch closely and go, that was improvised. I don't see any improv in Upload. It looks like it's very tightly scripted. Am I wrong about that?
Well, probably the reason that you can't tell is both because the writing is so excellent and the improvs are so well written. So in other words, there's a fine line between them, but they do happen. It's not a heavily improv show. There are also alts that are pitched on the day by the writer watching on set. So there's all kinds of levels of writing. There's the writing ahead of time, there's the writing on the day, and then there's sometimes some ad libs done by the actors on set.
What I figured, if there was anything improvised in the show, it would be the pop culture references that get named. The Scott Disick thing, that's not spoiling anything plot wise. Am I wrong about it, that the improv primarily comes from the pop culture references?
I don't know I don't know that I would put my finger on that as the example. I think there's a lot, sometimes the final lines of a scene are the ones that are improv, or something as an actor leaves and walks away and throws something behind, back, that might be an improv.
Got it. And I
Not
figured,
always.
hey, I've plenty to learn, and you have reinforced that one, Professor. So one of the great things about the show, before I ask my last question here, is Owen and how many characters we see Owen in. How does that work? Are there a lot of stand-ins, or are there a lot of cuts?
So sometimes it's done in visual effects where you've got a locked off camera and he'll be in multiple places, and we'll do it multiple times. And other times we have bodies that are wearing the same outfit that are ostensibly somewhat similar, but they're not identical to his body. And those are placeholders for him. And other times they're actually the back of the person's body. So it's a complicated answer because it's a complicated situation that depends on the shot and the nature of the shot. So it's hard actually, when I'm watching other episodes of the show that I didn't work on, I try to figure out how do they do that, because you can't always tell just by watching it.
Yeah, and to his credit, for a character that doesn't really have a name, he might have the most screen time of anybody on Upload, which kudos to him and congrats to him on being a producer now. But my last question before I let you go, obviously there's been a strike or two in the last 9 months, but are we allowed to know what you're working on next, or do we just have to keep checking Instagram and IMDb and that's how we'll know?
You got to just keep checking. Yeah. It's everything is too uncertain right now. It's a challenging time, and I just hope that we can all get back to work really soon.
But the key is you're still creative. You're ready to work when the time is right. And
Exactly.
Upload's not the last thing that Sarah Boyd ever worked on.
From your lips.
Well, thank you for your time. Thank you for the great art, and really looking forward to whatever's next. You have a great track record. Not that I can say track record well. You have a great track record of working on excellent programming. So if I see directed by Sarah Boyd, I know it's going to be pretty darn good. So thank you for that as well.
Thank you. That means a lot.
Paltrocast.